Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about extension on Business Central SaaS app source, and this extension is called Shop Floor Insights. So this Shop Floor Insight is usually used by the manufacturing companies who want to monitor the production process on the shop floor, including the time entry, the consumption and output, and also monitor the quality of the products they produce on the shop floor. So you can see in the Inside Works knowledge base, so you can find, the shop floor insight is by the ISV Inside Works. It's developed by this company Inside Works, and you could find in their knowledge base what components you will require in order to use shop floor insight. First, you need to download the extension from the app source and install on your Business Central SaaS tenant. And also, if you use the Business Central on-premise, you can also require the .app file from the Inside Works, and then you can install it on your Business Central on-premise tenant. So, and also you will require a physical hardware. This is a barcode scanner. And because the Shop Floor Insight is a barcode-based app, so you can choose to most of the time scan the barcode on the paper, like including the employee barcode, and also you can print out the production order job card, and then you can have the runtime setup time and production order number in the barcode format, so you can scan them to use the Shop Floor Insight on-premise barcode scanning interface. And also you have other option. Instead of scanning the barcode, you can also just select the button like the production order and output, consumption, time card. You have specific button you can just click in the Shop Floor Insight on-premise interface. I will demonstrate how you do that later in this video. And so you need to have the physical hardware for the barcode scanner, and this is you can use the USB. You can use a barcode scanner with the USB plug into a computer, and also you can use you can choose to use a Bluetooth barcode scanner. So and there's another component. So this is the barcode scanning interface. Then you install on your on-premise workstation. So it can be a desktop computer, a laptop computer, and also it could be a tablet. So you install this on-premise component. There's an installer provided by Inside Works. You can install on that computer, and then you can open an interface like this. So then what you can do on this interface is you can do the barcode scanning, like you scan your employee badge and log into this system, and then you can start your time card. You can scan clock in and clock off. So you can record the time there, and after you record the time, it will automatically create a time card entry in Business Central. It's communicating with Business Central SaaS tenant with the OAuth authentication method. And also you can record your output consumption. You can report the quantity in the Shop Floor Insight. So it will go into the output journal or consumption journal in Business Central. It depends on what quantity you put in. If it's output quantity you entered, then it will go into the output journal in Business Central. If you enter the consumption quantity, then it will go into the Business Central consumption journal. But also depends on the flashing method you configured in Business Central. Those will also work in this interface. Because like if you set up like a forward flashing for your for the production BOM components on the item card, if you set up the forward flashing, then when you release the production order in your Business Central, when you create the release production order in your Business Central, automatically those consumption will be posted. It will create a relevant item ledger entries for those consumption entries. And then if you log into your Shop Floor Insight on-premise interface, you will see the remaining quantity for those bill of material component will shows as 0 because it's already consumed based on the flashing method you selected. So it really depends on how you configure the items. Whatever the out-of-box Business Central flashing method works will also work in the shop floor insight on-premise interface because it's communicating with Business Central source tenant on-premise. So, and also you can require the quality of the products. So you can set up some measures like for you to do the quality inspection. And then the shop floor workers will record the parameters like you can set up the visual, like for example, the visual inspection. Then you can set up yes or no. If you can set up visual inspection if it's good or bad. And then so then if you set up those two values, then and you can set up accepted value. So only the good value will be accepted. And if you select something like a number, like from 1 to 10, if it's only accept value is only greater than like if it's a scale, like if it's a dimension of the product, and then if, for example, if the length of the product, then you set up the value from 1 to 10. Only when it's equal or greater to 8, then it passed the inspection. Then you can set up accepted value to be 8. And then on the shop floor, only when the workers enter a value which is equal or greater than 8, then it will pass. Then it will show a status as pass. Otherwise, it will say fail. So it depends. You can set up those values for the quality inspection as well. So you cannot post from the shop floor inside on-premise interface because for this shop floor inside on-premise license, it only uses the Business Central team member or device license. So it does not require, for the Business Central team license, it does not even allow you to use the manufacturing module, like you cannot require output or consumption. So if you only want to have time entry in the shop floor inside, you can choose to use the team member license, which is only around $10 a month per user. And if you do want the shop floor worker to require the output consumption, and also there's a graphical scheduler interface on the shop floor inside as well. If you want them to use that, then you must have a device license of Business Central. You can purchase that license from Microsoft. So then you can purchase the Business Central device license from Microsoft. Then you can report the output consumption and in your shop floor insight. And but anyway, whatever you do not post these entries. You do not post any entries in Business Central. You only create a relevant entries in the relevant journals in Business Central. So that's what shop floor insight does for you. And also, due to its kind of shop floor insight help you to reduce your cost for manufacturing because you don't need to purchase a Business Central name user license in shop floor insight, and you can communicate with Business Central for this output consumption quality time. So InsightWorks does charge you for their license. So except for the device license you purchase from Microsoft, for Business Central, you have to purchase the employee license based on how many shop floor workers or supervisors you have on the shop floor who use this on-premise interface. And so that's by the employee count. So InsightWorks only charge around $9 or $10 per employee for you to use this interface, shop floor insight on-premise barcode scanning interface. Yeah. Okay, so that's from the licensing side and the components. And then the other component is Business Central. So all these entries will go into the relevant journal in Business Central, and somebody from the production office or from the back office will review those entries in the journals and approve those entries and post in Business Central. So you could see for this on-premise component, you don't post anything and only you post from Business Central backend. Okay. Okay, so that's how the licensing works for shop floor insight and what components are included in the shop floor insight. Now we'll go into Business Central and take a look. So in Business Central, there are different roles. So you could see shop floor, after you install the shop floor insight extension, then it gives you actually there's another extension comes with shop floor insight for free, and that extension is called Graphical Scheduler. So then it automatically creates these 3 rows. So usually in order to use shop floor, then you want to have a row center of the shop floor insight. Then you can log in with the shop floor insight approver role. So by logging into this role, then I'm currently logging into this role actually. So then you could see interface like this. But I manually bookmarked something for the configuration on my navigation. So, but this navigation, you could see reference data and posted documents comes with that role. So you could see you can configure the employees, but this employee is not the out-of-box Business Central employee table. It's something InsightWorks created for shop floor insight. So it's shop floor employees, and you have to create this in order to communicate and use the shop floor insight on-premise barcode scanning station. The reason is like when you log in, usually you have to scan the employee card. Okay, and so then you have all these configurations. If you use the jobs in Business Central, then you can set up your resources. But if you only use production order, you don't need to use resources. And then it has a release production orders. It has the pay codes. For the pay codes, you can set up what is a regular pay. You could see there's a regular time, and you can set up the if the workers are working overtime, then you can set up the double time. Like if they work on a statute holiday or they work on the weekends, then they get paid double. Then you can set up that. Then you could see there's the overtime factors here. And also, if they work overtime, if their regular weekly work hours should be 40 hours, but they worked over 40 hours, then you can set up another overtime factor for that overtime. So you could see this set up as 1.5. You can configure these pay codes by yourself. And you can set up vacation, and so this regular pay and the vacation, you could see it has this check marks checked. This export check mark is for the integration with the other payroll systems like ADP, Cyrenaic, some other payroll systems. So Ceridian, so there's a different payroll system. So shop floor insight can export the time card in after you post the time card, then it will create a posted timesheet lines. So then you can from there you can export the time to those payrolls to the format accepted by those payroll system, then upload to those payroll systems portal. Okay, so then you can set up the activities on the shop floor. Is kind of based on what the shop floor workers can do. You can also use this to record, if you want to use that to record the time for your regular employees, not only from the shop floors, you can also do that. You just use that interface to record a clock in, clock out time. And then so you could see there's a different activities here, including training and meeting, which is usually conducted by the back office people, because you can also have the back office people using the system, using the shop floor insight to record their time, not production. But you can only use those features for time card. If they don't need to use production. And then you could see that's why there's some activity which has the check mark production order required checked. And there are some activities have the job required checked. So this production orders required means like you have to create a production order. And on the production order list, you will be able to select those activity. Job required, like if you are on the jobs, then you click on the activity, you will see those activity will be visible. Otherwise, like the other ones which doesn't have those check mark will be invisible. So also you have the service required that will require service orders. You could see here has a check mark for the service orders. And if you have this, you could see here generate barcode. So when you have these check marks, generate barcode, so actually all these which has the generate barcode check mark, those are the activities visible across the if you on the time card, then you can see those activities as well. So those will be on the time card. Yeah, so that's about the activities, and you can also set up different shifts on the shop floor. So you may have like 3 shift, 2 shift, and so you can set up different shift patterns on the shop floor. And so you can have 9 hours a day and with 1 hour lunchtime, and you can have 8 hours a day. So this is like you set up the shift in Business Central and for shop floor inside. And also you can go to the posted documents from this row. Then you could see the posted time cards and posted time card lines. In order to export to the payroll system, you have to be on the posted time card lines. And from here, you see this export button. Then you can select the time card lines you want to export, or you can select multiple lines if you want. And then you can click on this export button. And then it will generate a CSV file. And then in that CSV file, then you will be able to see, let's take a look of my download folder. Okay, so you could see here, that's from today's date, November 21st. So that's 11:57, it just downloaded, right? So then you could see these are the entries downloaded. Then this usually is in the format like your payroll system accept. You could see it has the, this is usually your company code you set up with that payroll system, then the batch ID and the file number and the regular hours for that employee. So this is a supervisor. This is for the supervisor. That's for another file number. So these are different profiles. And for this supervisor one, then the regular hours is so in my system probably I did not create any time entries. That's why it says 0. I didn't do that setup. So, but usually you will have a regular hours like 40 hours or something, and then it tells you the overtime hours. So you could export them, hours 3. So these are the fields required by your payroll system, by the other payroll system you want to integrate to. Okay, so that's basically how the interface of shop floor inside looks like in Business Central. And you also have, like you could see originally that you have this time card lines. Added all these different configurations because for you to use shop floor inside, there's many configurations behind the scene. And you have the shop floor setup. For the shop floor setup, then you can set up like how you want the journal to be posted, at what point of time you want the journal to be posted, and if you want so you could see operating. It has the register output to output journal. This is the journal you're gonna post to, and this is journal batch. For the output is going to the SFI-post this journal, and then if you are using jobs, then you have to select the job journal you want to post to. So, and there's some basic setup on this shop floor inside. You can set up the payroll export. It's using a code unit, and so you can use a template as well. And there's a out-of-box integration, like inside Works already set up already in this code unit. There is this have the code for the integration with ADP. So that format we just exported is the format required by ADP. And also you can set up the So these are the details, like if you want to use direct labor cost from the shop floor work center, or because the shop floor is you can create a work center from the business central work center. It's not you can populate shop floor inside has its own table for the shop floor work centers. Okay, so there's many details on this on these setups. I will just start like how you use the interface, so you can have a good understanding and what is the behind the scene this setup is used for. So let's just go to the shop floor insight on-premise barcode scanning interface and take a look. Okay, so by doing that, first thing we want to do is like we have to go into the shop floor employees card, and on the employee card. So if you just go to related and then go to, so there's we have to go to there's an entry for us to see the badge entries. Maybe we have to go to actions and structure. No, this is it's a little bit hard to find. So let's take a look. Related, now the history, active, setup. Yeah, setup. Okay, so so from this setup, then you can see the badge entries, and in the badge entries, then you can see for each employee, then you have like for this is a kind of is a resource, right? It's using a resource. It's a type is a resource, and then it has this value set up. And this value, and it says a full barcode is the /R00701 and the percentage sign. Okay, so if you remove the filter on this page, then you will see, you remove this map value feature, then you will see the barcode for each employee here. Okay, so because I do not have a barcode scanner, a physical barcode scanner which connected to my computer, so instead of scan a barcode, I can also just type in the barcode. So it's just not that convenient, not that fast than without barcode scanning. But even without scanning any barcode, you can still use the shop floor insight interface. So let's just take a look. So if I'm going to this interface, so I will start by just, you can see that it asks you scan the employee badge, scan your badge to log in. So I'm just gonna manually type in those. So I'm just gonna use my notepad to show you what I'm gonna type in. Because we saw those barcode will be this, so 7 zeros and 1 and percent. So I'm gonna just type this in so you know what happened behind the scene, what I'm doing. So in this interface, you have to type in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I just tapped in exactly what you see here in the notepad. And then what I'm using to log in is like this first employee actually is a supervisor. You can set up the reporting structure on each employee. So like this one, if you go to reports to, there's nothing because this is a supervisor. Other employee report to it, right? And if you see manages, then you could see this employee manages worker 1. So if you go to the employee card for this employee worker 1, then you go to reports 2, then you see this employee number for the supervisor pop up. In that supervisor's employee card, you see this is blank, right? Because that supervisor does not report to anybody, okay? Okay, so that's the reporting structure. So what I just did is like I log in with that first person here, supervisor, because this supervisor's barcode is that one. Okay, then by default, I have the production, this page show up. So as I said, there's many configurations in the background, and so because you see there's a timeout for this as well. So I have to type in that again. So okay, have to type in that barcode entry again, and then so by default you can set up the default login page to be time card, or you can set up to be production. So that's a setup controlled in Business Central. As I said, there's many setups there. And the popular one you may use is there's a client configurations. So in the client configurations, then you can set up the default view here, right? So because I set up the default view as a production order, that's why when I log into the shop floor insight, then my default page is the production order. If I'm the shop floor worker, it will be very convenient for you. But if I'm an office people, I don't use production at all. I just use shop floor insight to record my time. I may set it up as a time card because when I log in, I can just record my time, clock in, clock out. Okay, so anyway, on the production orders right now you see, because my view, I didn't filter anything in this client configuration. I did not put any production routing custom filter for the production orders. So I'm seeing all the production orders in my Business Central. And it's timeout again. So you can change the timeout time. So then it doesn't time out that fast. You have to log in every time. So you see it didn't accept it this time. Okay, so now I'm on the production order. So it's very simple to use on this interface. So once you select a production order like this one, 101011, and then you have different operations in this view, 10, 20, 30. But usually on the shop floor, you may want to have each workstation, like this view, assembly is a workstation. You want that workstation to only see the operation for that workstation. You don't want to see the other workstations. Now what you can do is you have to use this client configuration card. Then you have to use the production routing custom filter. Then you have to set up that operation number to be only you have to set up that operation number to be only if you select operation number, then that operation number you want to see is only 10. Okay, so then you only see that operation on your work center. But then each workstation, then you have to set up IP address. So instead of putting this, the filter type will be IP, then this filter will be the specific IP address for that workstation of that work center. Okay, and then so by doing this, let me just refresh my shop floor insight. If I go here back. Oh, he didn't take this down. Okay, so now you could see I do not see the other noises like the other operations like operation 20 and 30. I only see the operation for 10 because I put in that filter. Okay, and then you can record your output. Let's say I just clock into this operation, clock on to this operation, then it will bring me to my time card. Then I can just I can enter my time. So let's say the setup time is 30 minutes and run time is 100 minutes. It also depends on what you set up in Business Central on the Work Center for the unit measure. If it's hour or minute, then it depends. Then it decides what the unit measure, the setup time, run time is gonna use. Okay. And then, so this is for you to report the time, but we also need to report our output or consumption. Then if you click on output, so as because I set up, you can set up the forward flashing method on the components. Then when you go to the consumption, then you don't need to enter anything. You only need to ask your shop floor worker to enter the output, because for some manufacturing companies, they don't want to make it too complicated for their shop floor workers. They only want them to enter the output quantity. They want the consumption to be automatically flushed. Okay, so on this, so let's change it to the blue location. Then you can put a output quantity. So it's expecting 10, but now it's 0 finished. Then we can put a 10 here, and then we can say register. At the bottom, you could see, because I set up those quality inspection values, then that's why you can enter some values here. So you see the acceptable values are both 7. So I'm going to enter 8. Then you could see it passed. Then this one, I will purposely make it fail. I'm gonna enter 6. Then you see it failed. Okay, so let's register this. And then let's see what happened in Business Central after it's registered. So we should have something in our output journal, and this output journal should be for this production order 101011. It gave me an error message. It seems like there's some communication issue here, but let's take a look in the output journal to see if it's there. Okay, so this, let's go to, it should go to that journal. Okay, so that journal did not take it. So you could see, because our production order is 101011, it did not take that one. Okay, for some reason it did not take that one for 101011. So that's just to select another production order. Maybe I have some issues there. So that's select the output on this one. And then because that one, what I did, you could see previously the location was white and I changed it to blue. So it could be some issues on that production order location. And so this one, that's put in, it's also production order quantity is 5 and still have 5 remaining. Let's just enter 5 here. And let's enter, let's just make this to be passed for both, okay? And then let's register to see if we still have any error here. So it didn't give any error for this one, so this is good. So the other one could be the location issue. Let's refresh this output journal to see. Now we can see for this production order, right? So the production order we work on is 101020. Then we can see it in Business Central as the output, okay? And then the operation is 10, and we should have 5 output quantity here, okay? So that's good. And what you can see here is like in the output journal, it can also record the shop floor employee number. And because I was playing around with all these setup, so that's why you do not see this employee number here. Even I log in with supervisor 1, and but due to I made some changes, you could see here there's a checkbox for the finished. So there's some setup I did. I think it's also in the client configuration, and that is to mark the steps as a finish once you reported the output. So, but you see the previous line, it does not do that. It's the menu. It's not automatically doing that. So that's why it populated the employee number, but it didn't mark this as finished. So I will not go into the setup in details, but it's a setup which controls that. So, but you could see after I reported output, then the output will go into the output journal in Business Central. Then if I did not do the forward flashing to automatically flash the components, then you should be able to post the components as well. I'm just gonna log in back in, and then on this production order, this one, I'm gonna report some consumption here, okay? So you can see expected is 11, remaining is 11, and then we can report some consumption quantity for each component here. So I'm gonna just post 5 for each of them. Then I'm just gonna put a 5 here for each line, and then register. Okay, so this will automatically create a consumption journal in Business Central for this production order. So let's go to the consumption journal and take a look. Okay, so you could see for this production order, which is 101020, then it posted 5 for each of the components, okay? Let's just post this consumption journal and then take a look. Our remaining quantity in the shop floor inside will be changed now. It will only show you have insufficient quantity for item 1040, that's fine. Okay, so we have to do an item journal for that because we don't have enough we don't have enough. Let's see what's the location it's posting to, because we also have to match the location here. If it's not the same location, then it's also will complain that. Location code, let's drag it here. And to make sure we add, when we add inventory, we are adding it to that. Okay, so I think it's these entries which is causing the issue, because I know I have enough, I know I have enough quantity inventory for blue location. Okay, so let's just post these entries for this production order 101020. Okay, so this is good. Now, if we go back to our shop floor inside and still have, it's just timeout again. Okay, let's log in. And then this is good if you have a quick timeout, because you don't want other people to enter on your interface. So if it's idle for some time, you wanted to automatically release it for other shop floor workers to use, because you don't want to pay for too many shop floor inside employee licenses. And usually, like, you share, if you have multiple machine centers under one work center, then you will have the people for working on all the machine centers report on the same work center workstation. You only have one workstation set up there to use this interface. So yeah, timeout is also good, but if you want to extend the timeout, there's a setting you can do it. So let's go back to this production order. And on this production order, we're gonna go back to the consumption. You could see because we already posted, right? We already posted 5 for each of them, and the remaining quantity automatically updated, because 11 minus 5 equals 6. 6 minus 5 equals 1. Those are the remaining quantity, because we post 5 for each of those components. That's why I'm showing this remaining quantity. If I don't want to manually enter the quantity here for the remaining quantity, you can click on load quantities. Then it just load the remaining quantity here. Then you don't need to manually enter them. If you are only post the remaining quantity, then you can just click on register again. Then it will create the consumption journal in your Business Central again. Let's go back and refresh this page. Then you should see those consumption entry, journal entry here. Then you can post them from here as well. Then if you go back to our shop floor inside, then they will be empty now. Okay, so now if you go back to here and go to consumption, you can see the remaining is 0, because we just posted all of them. So this is good, but most of the business, they don't want their shop floor workers to manually post consumption. They only want them to post the output. So what you can do here is like you can configure. So like in this example, I have the item used on my production order is the items 1038. I remember the item number in my system. So what I did for the setup is like I have to configure for each component on the production BOM to use the flashing method. So let's just take a look at the BOM. Forward. You can select backward. If you use forward, then when you release the production order, then the consumption will be automatically posted. If you use backward, only when you finish the routing step or when you change production order status to finish, that will post the consumption automatically based on the expected quantity. So in this case, I'm navigating to one of the production BOM components and looking at the flashing method on the item card. You can see it's forward. And I know I have 3 components, 1039, 1040, 1041. Then you could take a look at it. The next one is forward. And the next one is also forward. Okay, so that's what we used on this production BOM. And also because I'm using a version, so it's not what you see here, it's actually what you use on the production order. It's also based on this version. Let's take a look at the version. What is the setup on the version? So this version 1 actually only have those 3 components, and the version 2 had an actual one. Okay, so what we can do, we have to change, if you wanted to use version 1, then you have to change the starting date. So so this version 2 starting date January 1st, 2020, version 1 February 1st, 2020. So then we should use this version. We should have this version on new production order. Let's take a look if that happens. Okay, so if I just create a new released production order with this item, and then we can take a look on the shop floor insight to see how it looks. Okay, so this 1038, and then let's enter a quantity here. The quantity here, that's just put in 10, and let's enter a location on the header. So we're gonna use blue. Okay, now we can refresh the production order. Okay, function refresh production order, and we're gonna refresh the production order line, production order routing lines, and production BOM lines. Okay, so after we refresh it right away in Business Central, then because this is already a released production order, there's no another button for you to release the production order. It just after you refresh the production order, immediately you should see those components posted item ledger entries. So you go to related order entries, item ledger entries, then you could see for those 3 components, it's already posted item ledger entries. Now, if you go to your shop floor insight for this production order 101041, then you could see, because it's communicating with Business Central, then it should automatically have the remaining quantity for those components shows up as 0, right? So, but you see here, this handlebar, somehow it bring in this handlebar because we are using the version 1, which does not have handlebar at all. So we don't need to worry about this handlebar at all, right? Because we only use these 3 components. We have 2 versions. One version is like we only have these 3 components, and the other version, like there's something else. So we don't need to worry about this one. And only take a look, like these already forward flashed, and we don't need to post anything for them anymore. So this just reduced work on the workload on the shop floor workers. They only need to focus on the output. If you already set up the components to be forward flashing or backward flashing, the system will automatically consume them based on the expected quantity. Okay, and that's it. And for the time, we talk about the time. For the time, you could see I enter my time, and this should automatically create a time card. Because I log in as that supervisor, so we want to take a look if there's any time card created for the supervisor. Okay, go to the row center, go to time cards, and today's date is November 21st. So you can see this time card already created. Because when we clocked in, we selected production order 101011, so it just reported time there. And with 100 is my runtime, and we should have some setup time. But let's take a look. You can see the runtime is 100, and there's 30 minutes for the setup time. So let's see if we can add that setup time to here. Then we can see all of them. Okay, let's drag it. Then you could see that 30 minutes show up here. Okay, so if you are the supervisor, and then you can, that worker already enter, actually I'm approved myself. I'm the supervisor, I'm then approve my time entry by myself. But like if it's a shop floor worker and you log in as a supervisor, then you can just approve that time card. So there's some validation you have to do before the time card can get approved. Then you can click on validate to see if the system is giving you an error. Okay, so weekly summary, 30 minutes, and then, okay, and then we can just validate. And when you validate, it should give you some, it's kind of like, it should give you some like, let's see why it's not doing that. approve, because I'm approved my own time entry. So I'm just post this time card because this is I'm the supervisor and that's the time entry of the supervisor. So you don't need to do much. You just post the time. And then if it's the worker who report to you, then you can just validate and approve. And then we should already post it sometime under it. Then let's take a look of the posted time card line. And this is with today's date. And we already have these entries. Then you can take a look what has been posted on this time card entry. So it's on this operation on work center 100 and the runtime 100. And you can also personalize to have the setup time show up. So the time entry is reported this way. And so there's a lot more what I like for this because like I'm gonna log in again. Okay, so there's a lot more I like about this. For example, on the production order, if you want to have some something show up to give some work instruction for the shop floor worker, what you can do, then you can put in some comments. So you can put some comments on the production order. Then you could see, I'm just gonna test work instruction. Okay, you can put it on the production order header, or you can put it up on the routing line. So I'm just gonna, you can highlight a routing operation step and put a comment there. So I'm gonna put it here, test work instruction from the routing line. Okay, so then let's take a look in the shop floor insight. Highlight this production order. Now you can see these work instructions show up here. So it's really very handy, like if you have any work instructions, you can show it up on the shop floor. And when the shop floor worker, they're doing something, they can also put a comments on their time card entry. So if this is my time card, and let's take a look of the view. Okay, and so we can go to production order, and then if I'm putting, so this is my time card. So these quality notes is one thing, and there's another place like you can put some comments when you report a card. Okay, let me see here. So it's comments here. Okay, so if you click on add, so like when I enter, this is 130 again. Okay, so when I do this, and I can say add a comment, and can say register the late time entry. Okay, if you put some comments there, then you register. Then if you go back to your Business Central, then you could see for this time card, if you look at this time card again from today's date, this is a new one I didn't post yet. The other one already posted. You can see this work date has been becoming bold, which means if it's bold, that means shop floor worker put in some notes on their time entry. Then you can just go to the manage and comment. So then you can see what explanation they put there on their time entry. So this is really handy as well. Another thing I like it, so this is a communication between your back office people and shop floor workers. And another thing I like is like on the item card. For example, on that item, that our production order item 1038, right? So 1038, if you put some documents as a link, so you see here, I put a test link, and I'm referencing to a URL. And on this URL, if you just go from your browser, you will see it linked to a PDF. So you can link different documents. Either it's a video media, different media. Either it's documents like PDF, Word, or whatever. That as long as it says it has a web URL which link to that document, or you can link it to a video, even like some stream, whatever. So then if you link it to the item card, when you create a production order, then you will see it. You will see it on that production order. So if we go to that production order, then if you click on view and you click on links, okay, so you could see this link is already attached here. If you click on link, then it just shows that document right away. So let's see, no matter what manufacturing industry you're on, then if you have any drawings or anything that you want to, video instruction you want to show on the shop floor for the shop floor worker to pay attention to, you can create that link and use that as additional information to the shop floor workers. So that's what I like it a lot. Because sometimes, like if for our manufacturing customers, like we custom their shop floor, then usually they want to put quality notes, and then they want to put some drawings for the finished, like if it's they're manufacturing plastic bags for their end users for the packaging, then they want to show how that packaging at the end looks like, the design of the packaging at the end looks like. They can attach a PDF to that. So this already did it. Otherwise, if we do custom for that touchscreen on the shop floor, then we have to touchscreen app on the shop floor, then we have to customize it. Okay, so I talked a lot about this. There's so many content for this shop floor insight, and I liked it a lot. And it's really give you the visibility on what's happening on your shop floor. As I said, it comes with another extensions. So if you go to extension management, you could see after you install the shop floor insights, then it comes with another extension which is called Graphical Scheduler. This comes with it for free. And so previously, InsightWorks put on their on-premise component, this graphical interface, but you could see there's some limitations. I cannot even drag and drop here. And then at the end, they developed that app. So if you log into the role, which is the graphical scheduler role, graphical scheduler operational role, then you could see you have a graphical interface for the scheduler to schedule the production orders. You can use drag and drop. So these two rows, you can use these two rows to do the schedule. And so if you log into this operational role, then you see that schedule right away, and then you can use drag and drop if you want to change the production order, right? You can move them around. And so it's a lot of handy. Then you have to update the due date for each production order manually. So then this just comes with shop floor insight for free. You can play around with it because those lots of drag and drop, and depends on if you have reservations on the production components, or if you have reservation on the production order to the sales order, if it's created by the planning feature from the sales order due to its make to order, then it will give you some warning sometimes because you have those reservations. Otherwise, you can just drag and drop them. Okay, that's it. And there's a lot about this setup of the to set up this on-premise component, and there's a lot of things for you to learn as well, but because this video will just focus on the functionality, licensing, and the components on the shop floor inside, so I will not go through the setup for the on-premise components. And if you like it, and if you are interested, then you can contact our company so we can help you to implement this shop floor inside. Okay, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I hope to see you guys again next time.